Hi everyone. Okay, all this talk about fastness and gunas, etc., running the show. I mentioned that first to lead us to the basic inquiry. You may have heard of inquiry, and what inquiry is it's constantly leading us back to question our central identity. Okay? So people walk around and say, I'm tired, I'm mad, I can't take it anymore, etc. So in inquiry, and this is really where everything comes into focus, and it's really a lot of hard work, okay? But it's basically like this. If you're interested in this kind of thing, when something happens, when you hear yourself saying that thing, like I don't like this, I don't or whatever, and you go somewhere where you're quiet and alone, and you ask yourself, who is this I that doesn't like this? Because you're thinking that, you really think there's an I here who doesn't like this stuff. So then you close your eyes, and or you don't have to close your eyes, however you do it, but I think it's better to close your eyes to close out the external world. And you look for this angry I, okay? When you look, and I don't know, once again, it depends how far along you are, how much meditation you've done, etc. Because you may have gone very far into this, you may have never gone into this at all. And it really does matter, because if you haven't gone into this kind of inquiry, all kinds of stuff will pop up. You say, and that's where you basically say, who am I? Okay, the famous Ramana Maharsha, who am I thing. And the reason why you're always saying who am I is because this I identity is always taking the forefront and is always claiming this or that. So now we're going to look for this I. So we say, okay, where is this I? And you're thinking to yourself, you're thinking these things, of course, and thought is not your enemy in this case. I mean, because inquiry is made of thought. Inquiry is to set the mind that thinks straight about things. So you're saying, who am I? Where is this I? And answers might come to you. Well, I'm a doctor. I'm a concerned citizen. I'm a mother. I'm a father. And then, okay, well, look for that. Look for that father. Where is that father? Okay, so then you go deeper. I'm a doctor. Okay, so where is this doctor? Well, and then your mind will come up, well, eventually your mind will get confounded, because no matter what you identify with, you will get to a point where the mind has no answer, and that's great. That's the point you want to get to, when the mind simply has run out of answers, okay? And then that's when you want to dwell in the answerless part of it. And you start to realize that beneath all the layers of identity, there is really no one home. And that's funny in our Western world, like, see the lights on, but no one's home with that guy, like it's a bad thing, and they're really good because they know who they are, blah, 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 nobody's home, and once again, it's a backwards way of Western thinking. This is really a wonderful thing, But believe me, the fool on the hill whose lights don't appear to be on, he's way ahead of the game. So anyway, so you just keep falling back in that. Every time this I grips you and demands stuff, and it's operating as soon as unhappiness settles in and discontent settles in and agitation. Okay, especially agitation is a very subtle form of discontent that, you just, because life is so agitating, is this traffic and these people and blah, 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 blah. And this agitation starts to work on a very kind of a subtle level that really keeps the I in place, okay? So, it's up to you. Be honest with yourself. If you're happy being an I in the world, doing stuff, congratulations. 99.9% of the world is with you. They're all out there thinking, I'm a good citizen. I deserve heaven. I deserve this. I deserve that. I mean, if you want to join them, that's fine, because truly, if you are tied to your actions with doership, and that's what I mentioned briefly before about doership, that's where the whole idea of doership goes away. Because once you start inquiring and realizing there's no I here actually doing anything, but you see things are still being done. Of course they're being done. They're basically being run by the vastness and the gunas, the different moods and the different programming that we feed. Okay? And especially, like I said, this I Vasna. It's there because you gave up a long time ago. Society taught you that it was better to just give up control and let this I thing take over. And this is where it's gotten you so far. If you still identify with the I can safely say it hasn't gotten you any closer to happiness. I know that. Okay? So anyway, without preaching, I just want to tell you that that's the basic inquiry of looking for the I. It's not a big deal. That's always your fallback. You're always going back to that, quietly cutting out the world with your eyes closed. And you're asking yourself, well, who is this? Who's agitated? Who just can't? And you look for this person, and the most you might find, I'll tell you might find energy traps. Eckhart Tolle calls them pain bodies, and that's where a lot of this stuff is really trapped in, like, your energy system. And when if you do find these things, you're not finding anything but energy. Okay, it's just energy being fed by thought. And if you find anything like that, just fall back in awareness and observe it and see what it wants. And you're not going to fight it. You're not going to do anything with it, but look at it with your friend awareness, okay? Because awareness is also the one doing the inquiry, okay? Actually, the mind is doing the inquiry, but when you're looking for the answer, you say, who am I? You're looking for the answer. You're just falling back in awareness, waiting for an answer to come up. And there is no answer, because it's just you, awareness. That's all there it is. It's so simple, it's ridiculous. But you'll find that out eventually, hopefully. Okay, and I just wanted to, I think we'll talk more about this whole doership thing later, because it's really kind of fascinating. But like I say, if you identify with the I, with the agitated person who needs things, who wants to do things, who has to have things done, then you're definitely a doer. Like the Advaitas say, there are no doers in the world, and that sounds ridiculous on its surface. I mean, there's all these things being done, right? But they speak from an ultimate point of view that does you no good as long as you're not in the ultimate point of view. It just looks like nonsense to you now, right? And that's true, but it really is kind of a relative thing when you realize that that there is nobody inside there doing anything, that you're being run by these vasnas and these gunas, just doing things habitually. You start losing your sense of doership, and believe me, you're not set to the point where you never ever want to do things again. That's not my point, because things will get done. Absolutely, your life doesn't change one iota. You still feed yourself, you still clothe, you still go to work, you do all these things, but your sense of doership tied to them is being loosened, and you're not bind to it anymore. Okay, you're not bound to this stuff. And that's really the kind of the point you want to start moving towards if you're interested in this, okay? So, like I say, we'll talk more about that later, but in the meanwhile, welcome to the world of inquiry. We definitely will talk more about inquiry, because it's a huge topic. It's really what ends up freeing you, okay? Okay, thanks a lot. Talk to you later.